Yo, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. When I did a Q&A a few weeks ago, I was really surprised by how many of you asked how I overcome fear when riding. So today, I'm gonna be breaking down the process that I use to overcome fear, and I hope this can help you with your riding. For a bit of background, I tend to ride fairly gnarly lines on a daily basis, so I've had a ton of time to work and refine my process. While this process works perfectly for me, it may not be completely perfect for you, but I hope that you're able to find some bits and pieces that you can implement into your own riding. For me, fear begins to creep in when I'm about to hit a new feature and there is some level of uncertainty. It's just beyond my comfort zone. My most recent example of this is with a new drop I just hit called the Incinerator. The Incinerator is about a 14-foot drop, but only 2 feet of distance out, so it's very plumb and technical. And added to that, there's a very short run out immediately into a right-hand berm on the edge of a cliff. You absolutely cannot go over the top of that berm or you'll be in huge trouble. On top of all of these factors, the drop had never been hit before, so there's no level of certainty that it would even work in the first place, and thus some level of fear began to creep in for me. This brings us to step 1 of my process, which is to develop a strong baseline confidence level. For me, I do this by just riding a lot, looking for 1% improvements with every ride. Each time I'm going out, I'm just looking to ride solid, minimal sketchy moments, and feel really good about my riding. This will give us a good baseline of what our riding level is before moving forward into unknown territory. With a baseline confidence level now established, you're able to look at new features with a clear and realistic mindset. You've ridden all these other features in the past, you're feeling good, you're not getting sketchy, you know where your baseline is, and you're able to look at new features, calculate how it may feel, and calculate how scared you might be. It's also important to note at this time that for me, I tend to look for smaller gradual steps in progression as opposed to big leaps. In my opinion, this is a good way to mitigate injury and maximize bike time. In the case of the Incinerator, I had hit a bunch of very similar drops over the past few months, so I felt very confident with the drop itself. However, those other drops had very straightforward runouts, not right into a berm. And that's where my only worry was with the Incinerator, was the speed management into the corner and obviously the unknown that it had never been hit before. Now that you have a baseline confidence level established and you've picked out a feature that you want to hit next, the best thing you can do is to enter the right mindset. For me, this is all about positive affirmations and telling yourself that you can do it. In my experience, there's definitely a time and place to consider the risk that a new feature may bring. However, the time to do that is not right before you're going to hit it. It is ideally well before you're going to hit the feature. Personally, if this option is available, I like to go and look at a feature that I may want to hit, maybe even watch someone hit it if that's available, and then come home, maybe spend a few days sleeping on it, and if after those few days I've considered the risk and I think it's a good idea, then I'll go back up, enter the right mindset, and go for it. Circling back to the Incinerator, I had checked that drop out days prior to actually hitting it. I had time to process whether it was a good idea or not, consider the drops I hit prior, do some mental math, and after deciding that yes, it was a good idea to go for it, when I actually went up there to hit it, I was fully confident, not worried about the risk, and I was just ready to send it. If you're having trouble pulling the trigger on a new feature or feeling confident about hitting a new feature, it is oftentimes best to revert back to step 1 and recalibrate your baseline confidence and riding level, and then look at new features you may want to hit with a new perspective. To wrap up, the third piece of my process is to make sure that you've got the right people around. I get super distracted if there's too many people around, maybe talking about how sketchy the feature is or what could go wrong or if it's windy or whatever. That just is added noise to my brain. For me, I need a very calm environment, ideally just my friends around, people who are all on the same page that this feature is a good idea. Although that is what works best for me, you really need to find what works best for you. Maybe your buddy hyping you up, telling you you're the man is what you need up there. For me, I just need a calm, chill environment. Ideally, maybe no one even talking to me, so I can just get in the zone and do it. This process will, take some adjustment for you, but it's a very solid step in this whole, overarching process. When it came time to hit the Incinerator, I went up with my good friend Jacob, who was also intending to hit the drop. We had both done our own calculations, looked at it previously, and thought it was a good idea. When we were up there, we knew the vibe that we needed to get it done successfully, and it was the perfect environment. As mentioned before, this step will take some adjustment to find what environment you feel most comfortable in, but those are just some thoughts on what works best for me. Once you've worked through these steps, overcome your fear, hit that new feature, you're gonna be able to raise your baseline confidence, raise your riding level, get stoked, and push your riding to new heights. All in all, everyone experiences fear on their mountain bike one way or another, and how you deal with that can really have a huge impact on your experience mountain biking overall. For me personally, over all the years that I've ridden, finding this process to deal with fear has made me enjoy riding even more than I did initially, and I hope that this can help you too. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate the support, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.